The ongoing divorce saga between Porsha Williams and Simon Goubadia has taken on a life of its own, and not in a good way. From the very start, these two have been at each other's throats, dragging each other through the mud, and it seems like there's no end in sight. What was once portrayed as a fairy tale romance, two people finding true love and happiness, has quickly unraveled into a messy spectacle. The marriage, which lasted less than a year and a half, ended in chaos, and since then, the drama has only escalated. Simon, who has faced accusations of being a scammer and a fraud, has now turned the tables, accusing Porsha and her mother of being scammers, too, suggesting they put on a fake front for the cameras. If you thought this divorce was going to be amicable, prepare for a rude awakening. It's clear that this feud is not going away anytime soon and is only going to get messier as time goes on. Let's take a closer look at this ongoing drama. Anyone who has followed the Porsha and Simon saga knows that this isn't the first time these two have taken jabs at each other. It's almost like they thrive on being petty, so we shouldn't be surprised by anything they do. What's even more intriguing is that, despite the drama, most people aren't rushing to feel sorry for Porsha. After all, she got involved with Simon while he was still married to his ex-wife, Fallon, who, by the way, Porsha was friends with before everything went down. This turn of events raised more than a few eyebrows, and the public has not been particularly sympathetic toward her. To make matters worse, Porsha and Simon's divorce has been riddled with accusations, insults, and public disputes that have only added fuel to the fire. When Porsha first filed for divorce, Simon wasted no time clapping back with his own set of filings. He accused Porsha of being a gold digger, claiming that she married him solely for his wealth. He even demanded that she admit or deny whether their prenuptial agreement was unfair and unreasonable. Simon didn't stop there, he made a series of additional claims. He alleged that Porsha never truly loved him, that she cheated on him during their marriage, and that she blindsided him with the divorce. These were serious accusations, and Simon was not holding back. He even wanted Porsha to answer questions about whether she had cheated on him, whether she had been involved in any inappropriate relationships during their marriage, and why he was paying her a 5-figure monthly allowance. It's clear that Simon's bitterness stems from the fact that he spent a considerable amount of money on Porsha during their brief marriage, only for her to walk away without a second thought. But here's the catch, just because Simon is making these claims doesn't necessarily mean they're true. While it's tempting to believe one side over the other, we need to stay open-minded and consider the possibility that things may not be as straightforward as they seem. In situations like this, things can get complicated, and the truth isn't always so black and white. On top of the allegations of infidelity, Simon also threw out some serious claims, suggesting that Porsha may have cheated on him with several men during their marriage. He named a few individuals, including her ex, Dennis McKinley, and a man named Kelvin. But the most shocking accusation came when Simon alleged that Porsha had been involved with rapper Future. This one was completely out of left field. No one had ever linked Porsha and Future before, and they don't even run in the same social circles. There wasn't a single photo of them together, so the idea that they could have had an affair without anyone noticing seemed hard to believe. Now, we all know Future's reputation when it comes to relationships. It's not exactly marked by stability or good judgment. His relationships are often filled with drama, so the idea that he might have gotten involved with a married woman isn't entirely shocking. But to think that Porsha of all people could have had an affair with Future during her marriage to Simon was a whole new level of messy. Fortunately for Porsha, sources close to her came forward to shut down the rumors, stating that she didn't even know Future. This was seen by many as Simon's attempt to tarnish Porsha's reputation. Porsha didn't take these accusations lying down, though. She hit back in the most personal way possible, by accusing Simon of having erectile dysfunction, ED. For those unfamiliar, ED is a condition in which a man struggles to maintain an erection. Porsha shared a screenshot discussing how men with ED may experience feelings of anger, frustration, and a lack of confidence. She even suggested that Simon's bitter attitude could be the result of his struggles with ED. This was a direct hit and left Simon with little room to defend himself. Things only got worse when Porsha took it a step further, offering advice for men dealing with ED, including tips to lose weight, eat healthier, and reduce stress. It was a low blow, and Simon wasn't going to let it slide. He quickly fired back, saying that he didn't allow witches into his life and that his angel wouldn't have to work so hard if it weren't for Porsha. He also made cryptic comments about how the narrative was changing, referring to earlier claims about his potential deportation and financial ruin. Simon suggested that Porsha had a history of defaming her exes and that she was trying to do the same to him. This exchange was only the beginning of what would become an even more dramatic public feud. Simon began rewriting the narrative, attempting to paint Porsha and her mother as the real villains in this story. He took to Instagram, accusing them of being scammers and putting on a public show of calling them out. The situation took an even uglier turn when Simon criticized Porsha and her mom for using his Rolls-Royce in the official trailer for the upcoming season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta star. He claimed that his attorney had sent Bravo a cease and desist letter to prevent the network from filming his car without his consent, but Bravo apparently ignored it. This only added another layer of drama to the situation. Simon threatened to expose Porsha and her mother for defrauding him, claiming that receipts would be made available to the public. He even warned that legal action was imminent, as he was trying to avoid the ungrateful family, but that they kept coming back for more. He insinuated that Porsha's family was full of fraudsters and that the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Simon seemed determined to make sure that Porsha and her mother were held accountable for whatever wrongs he believed they had committed. The situation got even more heated when Simon accused Bravo of enabling Porsha's narrative, claiming that the network was helping her portray him as the villain. He mentioned that Bravo was a subsidiary of Comcast and NBC Universal, suggesting that they were recklessly supporting a narrative that was legally protected by a prenup confidentiality clause. This was a serious accusation and left many wondering what exactly was in the prenuptial agreement between Simon and Porsha. While we may never know the full details, it's clear that some legal clauses were in place to prevent certain information from being revealed. Despite Simon's claims, it's still unclear who the true villain in this story is. While Simon has thrown accusations at Porsha and her family, he's also been accused of scamming people himself. Some fans have pointed out that Simon is just as bitter as Porsha, using the divorce as a platform to try and tarnish her image. Others believe he might be bluffing and that if he had damning evidence against Porsha's family, he would have used it by now. Some commentators even suggested that Simon might have tried to blackmail Porsha, given her family's legacy in Atlanta, but he never did. At the end of the day, the drama between Simon and Porsha is only going to get worse. Both parties continue to throw accusations, insults, and legal threats at each other. There's no doubt that this divorce is one of the messiest and most public splits in recent memory. It's a story of two petty people going at each other, and it's clear that they won't stop until every last bit of drama is aired out for the world to see. As the battle between Porsha and Simon continues, fans are eagerly watching to see who comes out on top. One thing is for certain, though, this divorce is far from over, and it's only going to get messier from here.